Ooh, take two.
Take two.
So full time in the van. Want to look at some of the upsides and downsides of being full time living in a van while we're travelling around Europe and the UK. So what do you think? Maybe so what are some of the downsides? Some things you need to think about, make sure that you're going to be happy, because I think if you think about the downsides, what things could go wrong, and then you can try and avoid those, can't you?
Yeah, I think one of the things I think about in this van is comfort.
Yeah,
I think that's a great downside because this van is very small, and when we had the Comanche, you had the long benches you could stretch out on, and I find I'm sitting hunched up all the time.
Yeah,
and
so
that gives me backache, so it's not great on that score.
Yeah, so we're in a fairly tight space. I mean, we're sat at the dinette, and there's room. I mean, it's not like there's not room. There is room, but it's not the most comfortable. I mean, these seats are fairly upright. You can extend the base a little bit on these to give it a slight recline, but it's still not that comfortable for sort of lounging. No. Whereas the long bench seats in a bigger motorhome, they are much more comfortable. So you need to think about that, and and I know as we get older, we do need a bit more comfort because we're generally. I know you all know this out there. As you get older, you get a bit more achy. And that sort of stuff. You want your home comforts, don't you? You want your van to feel like a real home, and you do need that comfort. So, on occasion we've bought extra little cushions and stuff like that, and blankets and throws that just add a bit of.
They do add a little bit of.
I want to call it luxury. Not quite luxury, but it's it pushes us towards that better feeling, doesn't it?
And I think too, the bed needs to be either single beds or an island bed. You need better access to bed than we've got in here. Yeah, it's a small gap, isn't it? And it's a climb over.
When we talk about the bed in this van, it really is. It's a challenge. It's like an obstacle course, really, for older people. Yeah, I'm certainly, in my sort of mid to late 60s, I'm not quite as agile as I was maybe 30 years ago. So we all become a bit more lumbery, as it were.
And we need to get up in the night a few times, which you never did when you were young.
There's the question of frequent toilet breaks in the middle of the night. So what we have in this van, because it's a standard sort of Fiat Ducato 6 metre long panel van, that's what it is, with all the nice bits of furnishings inside. It's a decent conversion. It's a very good van from Weinsberg. So typical German quality. It's quite good actually. But talking about the bed, it goes across the van at the back. So we've got the where we're sitting now is the dinette. Over to our right, this way, we've got the kitchen, and then further back, there's the passageway, which has the fridge and the toilet door, and then the bed, which is it's not high enough for a ladder, but it's high enough that you have to make an effort to sort of kneel up on it to get in. We'll
show you, in this video. We'll show you. when we finish rabbiting on, we'll show you what we're talking about, so you can see. Yes.
Yeah, we'll film a bit of me actually climbing in, because how we've arranged it is I sleep at the back, so the furthest in, and Wendy sleeps on this on the habitation end of the bed. So if I need to get up in the night, there's no way that I can get up without disturbing Wendy, but without forcing her to get out, I have to climb over. So, and that makes it, actually, when you're climbing over, it makes it quite a drop off the edge of the bed if you're not careful. So, and I'm only 5'6", 5'7" on a good day.
And then also there's Pippin, and she can't get out on her own. So when she needs to get down for a drink, I have to get up and lift her down, and that, because she can't manage it.
So as we head towards 2025 and the thoughts and possibilities about what van we get next for our full-time life as we travel constantly, this is not going to be big enough. It'll do for now, and it'll be fine, but it certainly won't be long term big enough for us three. The me and Wendy and Pippin.
Especially if it's winter. It's not so bad if we go to Spain for the winter, because we spend a lot of time sitting outside, and we've got lounge chairs to sit on, so that's much better. But I think in the winter,
we want a bit more comfort.
Yeah,
don't
we do want more comfort.
It's not that this is uncomfortable.
No,
but it's not comfortable enough for us. We just want the next level up, and we're looking to get an island bed so we can both walk round. If I mean that's the ideal. Something with a slightly larger lounge so that Wendy can put her feet up. She likes to do that, don't you?
Yeah, I do like to put my feet up. Yeah.
And I'm happy to sit in the driving chairs, in the cab seats. What are they called? Captain chairs, aren't they? And I'm happy to do that.
And you put your feet up on the bench there, don't you?
Yeah, on occasion.
Yeah.
I'm not a great fan of feet up. I do it occasionally, but I'm not a big fan of it.
Oh, I am, because it takes pressure off my back. That's why I find it so...
Puts pressure on my knees. So we're trying to look for something to satisfy both those needs and wants.
But having said that, we've had this van since new, and it's perfect. Absolutely. Nothing's gone wrong with it. It's absolutely brilliant. And I think it's good. But just as we said, just if we need a little bit more comfort.
So these are the things. If you're starting out on your journey, and I know many of you have been inspired by our earlier videos, and we've had quite a few people that we've met on our tours come up to us and say, you inspired us to do this. So that makes us really happy that we are inspiring you, and we hope to inspire more of you. But these are the things you need to think about.
But I would say that the pros of having this size van is we can park it anywhere. We used to struggle with the Comanche because it was, how long was it?
8.6 metres. So with the bike rack on the back, you're looking at a 9 metre van.
But this we can park anywhere. When we're abroad, it's so easy. So I really like that about it, and I don't think I'd want a van quite as long as the Comanche again. Though I did love the Comanche.
I wouldn't mind. I'd go for that again.
You can't have everything, can you? You could find the golden van. That would be the thing, wouldn't it? I think bigger than this, but smaller than the Comanche, and that. Yes.
Maybe.
There's got to be one out there somewhere.
I did see a rather gorgeous van on YouTube today.
What was that?
It was a Carthago chic line, something or other, island bed. 7.9 metres long.
Yeah.
So shorter than the Comanche. Only a single. The Comanche was tag axle, 5 tons. So you know, I need to maintain my licence for that, which shouldn't be a problem at all. But I don't know how heavy that was. That's probably going to be 4 tons, 4.5 tons maybe. Anyway, but that, you know, that's really nice. We've been looking at the Detlef Trend, which has all the stuff we need. Nice L-shaped lounge, feet up type thing, island bed, separate toilet and shower. That's, you know, those are the things that we sort of look at.
And also, I think we will have to, you know, by living full time in the van now, and we've only got the van, we will be able to save a bit of money, hopefully, and, you know, it'll...
We definitely notice...
be a bit less than what we had.
How much less it is to live in a van than it is even on the boat, you know, because, you know, I know we're not sure about how much we're going to save.
No.
Because the boat thing was like at least £6,000 a year. That's, you know,
before you cruised,
that's
wasn't it?
base.
Yeah.
That's base cost. And, you know, don't talk about maintenance or diesel or anything else. That's £6,000 a year just to have a boat moored up. So, you know, anyway, we're hoping that our camping fees will be much less than that. I think they will, because I know that when we went to Spain, December 23 to March 24, and we stayed at Alania. Maybe you will have seen those videos. That was a really, really inexpensive way, and our bank balance started to increase significantly, didn't it? Because not because we get a load of money, but because we weren't spending much. We'd paid for all the accommodation and done that, you know. And I think this is a really important point about full-time van life. Is like, how do you afford it? Broadly, we're on a basic state pension, so 2 people basic state pension plus another little bit from company pensions. So how do we afford it? Well, it's actually not that difficult. It's really, really inexpensive to live in a van.
Unless something major goes wrong, yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the good things about having a new van is that it you know, it's warranted. New stuff tends not to go wrong. I bet you're surprised to hear me say that, if you've seen our very early motorhome experience of buying from Trouble World, and that van, everything went wrong with that.
Oh yeah, that was. I mean, it can be a disaster.
You know, Friday afternoon van, certainly for them. Anyway. But
what was that one? What make was that? A Bursner, wasn't it?
It was not a Bursner. It was a Heimer.
Oh, it was a Heimer. Yeah.
Yeah. It was exactly the same as the second-hand Burstners we were looking at. But it was a really good price. Yeah. So anyway, that's all in the past, and actually, all of that disaster led us to the Comanche, didn't it?
Yeah.
Which was a joy.
Yeah.
But the cost of living in the van isn't massively expensive. I think it's more expensive if you stay in the UK and you want to travel around the UK. Although there are lots of free park-ups around. Yeah. I know lots of people do free park-ups, you know, parking in the street and so on. Which leads me on to another point. Wendy's made a list of stuff, and we're just randomly rambling, aren't we? But that brings me on to water and waste. So, you know, how do we deal with water and waste? Generally, for fresh water, I mean, we fill up the fresh water tank whenever we can. So even if we've only put a little bit in, if there's a place where we fill up the fresh water, we do. But we don't drink out of the tank. I know some people do. Generally, I would. I think it's clean, but it tends to stay in there a long time, so we don't go through it. So we don't drink. We only sort of wash and do washing up and boil kettles of water for tea and stuff like that. So where do we get our drinking water from? Well, we buy bottled, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. So bottled water, even in the UK, isn't that expensive these days. So if you go to Spain, you can buy like is it 6 litres or 3 litre? No, 6 litre.
6 litres or even
a
more.
6 litre, a 6 litre bottle of water, fresh drinking water, for 60 cents. So less than €1. So it's like 10 cents a litre, really, really cheap. So we tend to do that, and even in the smaller bottles, it's really cheap. So that, and we feel that's probably safer and better than drinking out of the stagnant, not as bad as it sounds, the non-moving water in our tank. Which then brings us on to, well, there's 2 types of waste, isn't there? There's the grey waste, and there's what we call the black waste, so the toilet. I'll deal with the grey waste first. Grey waste is pretty easy. Broadly, grey waste is not toxic, so it might have a little bit of food in it, and it might have some soap. So certainly in the UK, grey waste could go down a road drain, and because all the road drains go off for treatment anyway. In the UK, not the same in Spain. It's illegal. My understanding is it's illegal to empty your waste on the road, so don't do that. But if you're stuck for somewhere to empty grey waste and black waste, we've never really been that stuck. But there have been occasions where we've been a bit up against it, and we used to carry 2 toilet cassettes just in case. But we'd book into a campsite, wouldn't we? Yeah. So there are places. I know you thought there was a website, didn't you, for black waste emptying points?
Yeah.
Well, there is, but it seems like all the black waste emptying points are in Scotland.
Yeah, there's a map showing them in Scotland, but
seems like a long way to go.
But there's more airs opening now. Campfire airs are opening, so
Campfire.
Yeah, that's the way to go now, I think.
So the campaign for real airs, Campfire, in association with Search for Sites, I understand, are setting up places where you can empty your toilet. I know, some people have said, "Oh, we put the cassette in a bag and go into McDonald's, empty it in there."
Well, I think that's much better than having empty it into the hedgerow.
It's better better to do that than just throw it anywhere.
Yes, much better.
That's not the thing to do.
No.
So I think it's a bit of a faff. And I'd rather pay for a night in a CL. There's some CLs all over the country.
But some of them you can just pay to use.
Oh, you can, yeah. Campsite. I think the Caravan and Motorhome Club, or the Camping and Caravan Club, they both do sort of temporary waste fill-up type booking in. So you go to reception, say, "Oh, remember, I want to get in," and you can fill up. I think you can fill up, have a shower, and empty your waste. I think the last time I looked, I don't know what it is now. The last time I looked was pre-pandemic. It was between £5 and £7.50 So it might have gone up, who knows. I don't know what it is, because we've never needed to do it, have we?
No.
Well, we sort of switched between a little bit of what might be called wild or street camping and CL sites and club sites. Oh, and rallies.
We do a lot of rallies, yeah.
Rallies are beautiful. The Motor Caravanners Club, who run rallies all the time, right across the UK. Brilliant club to be in. I think it's only like 35, 36 quid a year to be a member, and you get access to all those rallies. You could book on one of those and empty your toilet. Why not? And they're usually like £10 or £12 a night.
Yeah, something like that.
Wendy knows more about all that sort of stuff than I do. So that's how we deal with the filling up grey waste and black waste. We tend to be fairly responsible in terms of especially with the black waste. You don't want to be throwing that everywhere. Because if everybody did that, we'd be going back to the dark ages, wouldn't we? Not the thing to do.
Well, we don't want, we want to encourage the UK to really welcome motorhomes everywhere, and we must do everything we can to not make sure that they would perhaps in the future be more welcoming, like abroad. Like France is very welcoming.
So it is. So moving on a little bit onto sort of electricity. How do you deal with electricity? In the Comanche, we dealt with it really well because we had the van upgraded with a 3 kVA inverter charger from Victron. So it was a complete Victron kit, and my aim is to set aside budget to do that on the new van, unless we can find one with that all done. So 200 amp hour lithium battery, which gave us like 180 amps of discharge, so lots of power, and it could draw 400 amps at peak, and 200 amps consistently, so nothing would ever trip out, as it were. Plus solar panels and MPPT controllers all linked into the same system. It's a brilliant. It's quite expensive to do, but I guarantee you just know it works. So that gave us, when we were on electric hookup, the hookup came in, went through the inverter charger, charged the battery, and went back out as though it was coming from the inverter. But even if there wasn't enough ampage off of the electric post, the inverter charger would make up the difference. So if we were on a 6 amp supply and we were using 10 amps, it wouldn't trip out. Our inverter charger would just make up the difference from the battery, and away you go. And and on occasion we've been on hookup, and the whole site has like tripped out, and people have knocked on our door and said, "Have you got electric?" Yep. And we've just literally not noticed, because it's like an immediate switchover. Nothing changes. So we're looking to have that done again. What we've done on this van, because there's less space, I don't think we can have all that kit fitted, because there's just no room in here. I guess you could squeeze it in somewhere, but just not sensible to look at it. We did upgrade the battery. So when the lead acid battery that came with the van died a couple of years in, because we use it a lot, it just got overused and it wasn't holding a charge. I upgraded it to a 250 amp hour lithium battery that was constructed in the UK by a guy called Graham, I think it's his name, from the lithium battery shop. And I think that battery on his website now is 840 quid. So yeah, couple of changes I needed to make. I needed to add a bus bar so that I could connect the big wires up, or add 2 bus bars, positive and negative, and then connect the little cables from the onboard stuff onto those, and then add my portable solar panel connectors onto that bus bar. Anyway, so that's the upgrade we've made to here. And we've also bought a Bluetti 200 AC Max, which is I think that's like 200 amp hour battery as well, which comes with its own inverter. So when we've got no hookup, we can run our Starlink internet off of the Bluetti. And we can charge it up while we're driving along.
Yeah, that's right, we can.
Well, that's really useful, isn't it?
But we can't tell you how long the Bluetti will run the Starlink for, because we've never actually done that slow.
We'll do a test. We'll do a test.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Test, yeah.
At some point. So stay tuned. Not in this video, but come back. At some point, I'll do a test from a fully charged Bluetti, running the Starlink on 240 volt until it goes flat, and then we'll tell you how many hours that lasts. I suppose you could sort of work it out by knowing what the wattage is. But I think the thing with Starlink, our internet thing, is the more you use it, like if you're downloading videos, like a couple of videos at a time, like Wendy's watching one and I'm watching something else, that will use more power than if you're just looking at email. So it's less power to read emails than it is to do videos, apparently. Well, that's what I gather. I've been watching a few of Gadget John on YouTube, his videos about all this technical stuff. I'd recommend going and looking at that for technical. It's really good. But yeah, so I'll do a test on that, see how long it really lasts.
Yeah. That's right.
Medications, another thing on the list. Medication. What do you do for medications? I know it can be difficult, but our current situation doesn't really apply to full-time vanning. But previously, when we had the Comanche, we came back and we were spending a lot of time in Sussex. We went to a doctor's in Lewes, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
And how did they deal with that?
Well, they we said we didn't have an address. They just registered as the street outside their surgery. So
effectively, they had us registered as next door to the surgery.
Yeah.
Although we were on a CL site.
But you don't have
just
to.
Up the road.
You can always. They have to really.
Yeah. I mean, some doctors will deal with it well, others won't. Our doctors in Crick, when we first went to the boat, we didn't have any paperwork to say that we lived in Crick, because we didn't really officially live there or have a permanent address. So they said, if you haven't got an address, we can't register you. Even after I showed them the NHS website page that says you must register somebody if they are in the area. Even if I said, well, I'm homeless, they said, no, we don't have that sort of thing in Crick.
Yeah.
So, some will deal with it differently. So eventually I convinced them through a bit of fakery of paperwork. So I gave them some paperwork that satisfied them, and they registered me, us.
Yeah, so you don't need an address, and they will fax your prescription to chemists depending where you happen to be.
I think you know, it was a bit of their back office sort of stuff that wouldn't allow them to do it. So as long as they saw a bit of paperwork, they could say, "Well, he showed me the paperwork." That was fine. So that was all good. But I think you can register at doctors anywhere, and certainly in emergencies, if you're anywhere, you can go to a doctor. I mean, we're currently in Sweden, and we could go to a doctor's here. You know, we've got some health insurance, but we've got the global health insurance card, which is pretty much the same as the old EHIC, the European health insurance card. So it all goes back. They tally it all up and send the bill back to the UK government, who pay it out of the NHS. So you know, if you need emergency treatment, for anything more, you need medical insurance, of course. Now that's always a good idea to have. Anyway. So medications you can get easier in Spain.
Yeah.
Easier in Spain. Some medications that you used to have, you could buy over the counter in the pharmacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, you could. Yes.
So there you go. I'm going to start to wrap it up.
I think we've rabbited on quite a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to make a part 2 because we're going to show you the bed, aren't we, as well? Yes.
Well, I'm going to film that now.
Yes.
And I'll put it back when I'm rabbiting away. You will have seen it already.
Yeah.
So, other things we had was phone signal, internet. We've spoken a bit about budget. We've spoken about useful apps.
And security.
Security.
Yeah.
Breakdown and recovery. Yeah, that's it. Those are the other things. We'll do that in part 2. I think we'll do another one and we'll cover those bits. I think they're quite important as well. But we'll wrap it up now. I know you all find it stunningly interesting to hear us rabbit on, sitting in our van about full-time van life. Let us know if you find it stunningly interesting in the comments below, or rate your interest 1 out of 10. 1, you're not interested at all. 10, you're stunningly interested. I'd like to see the scores, and I'll maybe publish them in the next video. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So we're having a lovely time while we're in Sweden.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. So we're just about to go. Well, after we've done this, Pippin gets a haircut.
Yeah.
And we're off down the pizza restaurant because they serve some rather nice beer down there, and we're gonna we're gonna walk down there, have a couple of glasses.
Yep.
So we'll see you next time.
Yes.
For another stunningly interesting instalment of the Happy Travellers full-time life in a motorhome. Oh, I can't think of a better way to live, actually. It's really great. But we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.